We're back. It's another day of the 30 days of things that suck. Today's number 13, which is always a bad luck number. I didn't think about that. 13 to 30, 13 going on 30. We just watched a movie last night. Ironically enough, me and the boy did. He liked it. Today we're joined by
superstition.
Right. We're joined by Mr. Kevin today. We're talking about how the prison system sucks. Now, I tried to get the rights for Prison Song by System of a Down for the intro, but
I'll sing it.
Yeah, prison
No.
system. So today we're talking about how much the prison system in the U.S. at least, sucks. Now, we do got a lot of international viewers, so definitely tell us how much the prison system sucks where you're at. If you've known somebody who's been there, you've been there yourself. But let's get it started by talking about, like, historically how the shit was treated in the U.S. Now, back in the day, they would you'd have a local.
In the 80s is when it went crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
if you watch the numbers, okay, it was the great, because they built the prisons, and it was a lot of private interest involved, where there's courts that are appointed, and they actually own part of the jail that you're in or getting sent to. So, God, that seems like a conflict of interest. Or, I can't verify any of this, but I'll tell you that corruption is rampant. If you have money, it's always been that way, and it does depend on what color you are, because that's the first thing you learn, and I want to make it clear, okay? That's the first thing you learn is separatism, and want out of the county jail, because then that's more or less just kind of craziness, not very much leadership or organization. Once you get into the state level of the corrections, California Department of Corrections is the only one I can speak to. Chino, Quentin, San Luis Obispo, California Men's Colony. Those institutions I have experience in, and yeah, it's a whole culture. It's a culture thing, and it doesn't do us as human beings any good. This entire thing needs to be dismantled and restructured to a point where if it is an addiction issue, which is 90% of inmates anymore, it's drug related. And why are they doing these? Whatever, it's culturally based a lot. So it needs to be from the top. I don't necessarily have any kind of solution. I couldn't tell you but a lot more rehabilitations.
Well, it's the Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. I mean, they focus so much on the correction, they forget about the rehabilitation. And they forget the fact that these people are human.
Dangerous ones, like where you just seriously need to go away for it. Like you bring in a backpack full of fentanyl in. Sorry, bro. I can't say that's because that's my new platform. I'm going to be running for state senate of Ohio. My platform is just say perhaps to drugs.
Just hand out samples at the rallies.
Yeah, just say perhaps. What do you got? What are you working with? And then if they have one of the bad drugs, really, sir, I don't have it, but I can tell you I've been through opiate addiction. That's going on 10 years sober from those. But I went through it because you get PTSD from being in there years at a time.
Oh, well, that's the thing, too. Okay, so if we go back to the roots of it, back in the day, they would just jail people in a central jail. Like say
solitary will make you crazy.
Say Kevin stole some chickens from the guy down the street. All right, you're a chicken rustler. We're sentencing you to whatever. And you would just go in there, do it, and you get your time out, and you'd be done. There would be no record. You could just do it the rest of your life. And as we started going on, they started keeping records of this shit. And once slavery started ending, they needed ways to prosecute the slaves. So they started putting more laws in the books.
It still is.
The roots of it is still all in slavery. And they still started making more laws to restrict the actions of people that were recently freed from slavery. Right. So they made more and more things illegal. And then started in the 30s, they freaked the fuck out. The 20s and 30s, they started freaking out.
They were going to make Atlanta a giant. If, in case you didn't know, there's weird history. The federal prison in downtown Atlanta, that entire area back in the Civil War days, they were going to make that entire area, which is now 285, which encircles Atlanta, they were going to make that basically a giant prison camp. And they rethought that land option. So trust me, the roots run deep in the South, especially.
Oh yeah,
they have a lot to say about their kin folks and whatnots, and I get it, but you lost, and that's the facts, and then it doesn't really. I think it's an idiot. Like, y'all just stay over there, and we'll stay up there. You get your drinking fountain. It's ironically uncivilized as a human being. I'm a individualist. I take people one at a time anymore because.
Well, you have to. Well, I mean, let's say hi to some people real quick. Chattio's in the chat. What's up, buddy? Robin, how you doing, sweetheart? Who else we got out there? Web's out there. What's up, buddy? Chief Web, my man. We also got, where's it? Mick, Krabby Turtle. What's up?
Krabby Turtle in the house.
Pete, my man, Pete. What's up, Pete? Not Pistol Pete, but Motorcycle Pete. We also got Captain. Happy, he says, bring back crucifixion. I don't know about all that, but we'll yeah, so that's the thing, too, is back in the day, if you think back to the Salem witch trials, they just accused the people of being a witch. There was no evidence.
Put stones on their feet and kicked them in the river.
Right. And they said,
in Ohio, they did that.
If you fly, you're a witch. If you don't fly, oh, well, have a nice life. And I think
took their land and took their shit.
And our country was built on such puritanical bullshit. Like when the Puritans are the first people to come over from, thanks guys for sending the fucking Puritans over. We didn't want that, Britain.
Oh no.
You guys could have sent some.
I like their outfits though. I like the shoes. Especially, I have a thing for sneakers, so I always look at the shoes first. And I can judge a guy, but all those Puritans had fly-ass shoes, like pimp shoes, is what I'm saying.
You know what's wild? Though? I just thought about this. Is that England sent the Puritans over here, and they sent the criminals to Australia. Yet over here, we have the cool party laws. In Australia, you can't do shit. You can't shoot guns. You can't smoke weed. You got to stay in your house. So, like, I don't know what worked with that, but, man, we got the good end of the deal on that one.
Right.
Like, America's more fun to live in Canada or Australia when it comes to parties, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
It's off the chain, and now it's armed. It's always been armed. But, now it's even, hey, the gun laws have really kind of made me rethink my felon status.
That's another thing, too. People don't realize in the States, man, once you get, we'll get into some of this a little bit, too, but we'll jump the gun here right now. But for firearms, yeah, like Kevin's been convicted of a felony in the past.
With I didn't do it. I was the driver actually, but somebody got really hurt, and it was back in the 80s. It's been I've never been back to any state prison. I've been in county jail, but I'm over like 8 years on that.
Right.
So, but it is getting like when I got off paper, I left California and came back home to Ohio so fast. I got on a Greyhound bus with a Polish Samsonite, and it's a trash bag. So yeah,
this is my buddy Kevin. He's a local comic here in Cleveland. I just figured, considering today's topic, he was a great person to call in. And so he lives right down the street.
I got prison jokes. You want me to do just a one real quick one-liner that?
Yeah, do one of your.
All right, just everybody in prison knew I had a huge cock by word of mouth. Oh God, just play on words. Now, but I've got other ones where the warden is going to let us out if all three of us in the cell. Our cocks would equal up to 12 inches, and he had a ruler, and he's like, listen, guys, I will let you out. And I was like, okay, well, I'm in here with a Mexican guy and a Chinese guy. I was like, well, what are the odds? So I pulled mine out, and there was all right, 6 inches. He's good. And I was like, okay, Javier, get over there, get your dick out. Okay. Pulls his dick out. He's got 4 inches. Now there's a Chinese guy over in the corners, and I'm not kidding. He's straight from Hong Kong. Cowering. Got it out exactly 2 inches. we got out, we're drinking at the bar, and I'm like, "You look, I had my 6 inches," and Javier's like, "Hey, see, I had my 4." And then the Chinese guy comes over, he goes, "Do you like me? I was hard." So that's the joke. It took a long time to get there, but
that's too much thinking about dicks for me.
yeah, like why is the warden got a ruler in his hand? I'm not putting my dick near a ruler or any man's hands. I saw a guy get dragged around the day room by his penis because he was foolish enough to put it in the guy's hand.
Oh, yeah.
We laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and no, it was funny until it just wasn't. He let go. It's just the things you do.
All right, so going back in your career, in your time,
it was in the 80s.
All right, so was that your how old were you when you first?
21.
You're 21. Okay.
Yep.
So you were fresh. I had by the time I was 21, I had 2 DUIs under my belt. I was a veteran too, but it wasn't obviously.
I really went big. Like when I called my wife, she's like, "Well, what's your bail? I'll get, we could work." And it was my first wife, and she was Mexican. So that complicated things also when I got to prison and she visited me. And then, but she had a lot of people in there. And if you know anything, California Department of Corrections is ran by the Mexicans all the way to where the whites started to come into the prison system more because of the meth and shit. And where are they getting the meth from? The Mexicans. But they're like running things. So you're going to get taxed one way or another.
So what was your court experience like?
Court? Okay, LA County, because I have 2 numbers, C 59321 and D 40252. And the first time, I literally should have went home. I was guilty, and I'll tell you now I was. But there was, I almost like it was I just didn't want to do it. And there was a man that I knew had a whole bunch, and this is in Inglewood, California in the 80s. And I let him get in his car and just start, and then I was like, hey, and he left. But then the cops came in there, and I just, like, so fast, it was right on Century Boulevard. So I was like, hey, whoa. This lady was in court because the guy said, fuck it, I'm going to the World Series. I'm not going to court. The guy was drunk, and I was drunk. I was drunk when I, was over there. So they had no victim and no witnesses. And all of a sudden, this black lady's like, and he was in the bar talking about stealing and robbing that man. I don't even think I was old enough to go in that bar at that time. I literally never saw that lady before in my life. And that's when I knew LA County is fucked up because I ran too, and it took them a while to catch me because I was like, okay. But I was like fast. I played ice hockey, and I really had. Anyway, it pissed them off, and they told me by beating me to fuck it. And I was like, why? He's like, that's the penalty for running in Los Angeles. LAPD made that clear, and I walk funny now because of the kneecaps. No, that would be San Bernardino. But I do have law enforcement in my. I don't know what my daughter out there and what my ex-wife told her to go into law enforcement so heartily. No, but I'm proud of her either way. What she does, whatever she did, and her husband is a homicide detective in South Central.
So now, when you first got there to, what was you were in
Chino? That's where you go through. That was the Southern Reception Center. That was California.
Because in Ohio, the reception prison is Lorraine. So, like, if you get booked in the prison,
it's not far.
They changed it? Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea where the reception, to go wherever you're going.
So in Ohio,
classification.
In Ohio, typically, if you get arrested for, say I was selling cocaine or some shit, they book me in the local. Typically, they book me in the local lockup, and then you stay until your trial's over. Now, in my opinion, the way they do cash bail in this country is kind of ridiculous. So, say like somebody like me, if they say
mine was $250,000, and that was in '83, I think. So I wasn't going home.
Now, how long when they gave you that bail on trial? How long was your trial period?
Okay, I was in Santa Ana, Orange County, because the crime happened there, and a beautiful Newport Beach, and I I feel bad about what happened because the lunatic that I was with, I met him that day. It was it was like a Fear and Loathing, only worse because we were just complete idiots. It was, looking back, I was just stupid. And I did have addiction issues. And a lot of it stems, so that's why the whole thing really does need to be like reformed, because why is the mindset like, what are your situations? Like, I was out there without a safety net. My first thing was, I thought the $1,000 was, California is the place you ought to go. So we loaded up the truck and, oh shit, I shouldn't have gone. So I'm homeless in Long Beach. Yeah, that's where's Snoop when you need him? LBC.
Mick says you look like Robin Williams done a line and Shrunk in the Wash.
No, really. I used to get the Robin Williams. I do a great impression. Want to see it? No, I'm not going to do it because it's dark. And I got to a really dark place.
Here's
No.
Poor Robin Williams.
I did that to a giant, but Louis B got him.
Poor
Louis
Robin
B.
Williams.
No, I love him.
So how long was the you had the $250,000 bail? How long were you awaiting trial before you got convicted?
2 years in Santa Ana County.
So
and so I was in a segregated with whites and Mexicans, and then blacks were up on the second tier.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, some of the slurs, and at night, boy, it would be getting crazy. And I would always be the Englishman. Like, they didn't know who I was. Like, where's the Englishman? Hello. So it was always like.
Wait. So you faked an accent when you went up in there?
There were riots there. We had shit on fire. Everybody's, it was crazy. Riots, seriously, where you'd go in the day room and you knew shit was about to, you can I've been in probably 4 real riots. LA County was the worst, like at Wayside Max. Who out there? No. Yeah. My bunkie got a pencil in his forehead, put his sock on it. Like, dude, he took his sock out. That's all I remember about that. That was a memorable one. Yeah.
So when did you get out? What year was you got out?
I think it was like 89.
Okay. Did you stay out in California? When did you come to Ohio? What happened?
I in 91. Plus I had a daughter, Allison. So, but I made that decision when I was still on paper, and in Ontario, California, I was hanging out with an ex-con that I knew from prison. He was all tacked back, Mexican dude. I pretty much only those, I thought I was Mexican. I think. I don't. So we go up to the 7-Eleven to go use the payphones, because this is back when there were like a block of payphones at the 7-Eleven. And we pull up, and I'm driving, and he's in the passenger, and this guy walks in front of us where I had to go, I go, like, go ahead. And he pulled out a gun and just sprayed the entire phone booth. And then we both go down onto the floor of the car thinking he's just going to come over and just do us because we saw him.
Right.
And we stayed there for a minute. And I finally just looked up, and he was running that way. And I just backed up, went back to his house, and then walked back over. And like, they were 2 guys dead.
Oh,
yeah. So that was like, I'm going home. I've had it. That was like within. No.
Now, where were you out in California to begin with? Were you just out there to make entertainment?
It's stupid, but everybody kept saying, you got to do what you love. You got to do what you love. And I kept saying, I saw this movie called Shampoo, starring Warren Beatty, where he rides around Beverly Hills hosing down women and cutting their hair. So I was like, I could probably do something like that. That's what I could do, as immature as it sounded. But I went to cosmetology school with, so when I got out the first time, so that was great recovery. 2 floors in Ontario, California, of women to recover from prison. That, guys, is my version of the Hugh Hefner mansion. That's what it was like. So as immature as it was, I did end up working on Rodeo Drive at Allen Edwards Hair Salon. Met The Jacksons, not Michael, but Latoya, had lunch with her and her dad and mom.
Okay. Jeff, what is it, Jeff? What's the dad's
It
name?
was
Jeremy?
Latoya and Joe.
Joe,
And,
that's right. That's
he
right.
beat everything but cancer. No, I can't take credit for that, but somebody,
Right.
I can't remember who wrote
That's
that.
great. That's great. Latoya was wild, man. I remember Latoya. I think
She was a bad bitch.
She was in Playboy too.
I asked her to be in my portfolio because I was cutting hair and having like going to hair shows and crazy shit. And I was like, all I wanted to do was have I was like, I won't even have to cut it. We'll just do different styles. And Joe Jackson, I shit you not, goes, oh, hell no, we don't give our number out to white boys. And it turned me bright red, looked around, and people kind of heard him. And he was a cunt, that guy. He was a straight up cunt. I know him personally. Now I can say that. I wouldn't say that about celebrity, all the bullshit that you hear. The guy was a cunt. But she felt bad, and she's like, I'll take your number, though. Listen, I didn't sit by the phone waiting for Latoya Jackson to call me, the white boy. Hey, I gave it a shot, though. I had to take that swing.
Right? Jeez, that's cool, man. Yeah. So, what have you encountered since you've been out? Like, what would you say? Like, is the most annoying aspect of
that you can't make a living,
branded?
a good living. I did do outside sales down in Georgia. I did work for Home Depot. They were pretty like that's where it started. But I changed jobs because they came in. I'm not going to say the company, but they hired me. I did the whole setup because I used to work for Target, which I was on the travel team that would start new stores from ground up. So, yeah, then I went to this company I left the company I was with, good company, Home Depot, on the premise of like $100,000 a year, plus I picked my department, whatever. And after a week of grand opening, hey, listen, our people, it's the Pinkertons, the Pinkerton Company. Thank you. Peace. Yeah. Has come back with your name, and there's these things on there. Is that you? Yeah, that's me. I mean, there's not too many people with my last name in the world. Really, it's Rossborough worldwide. Most of us we're from Scotland, but we got sent to Australia. Funny how that works. The prisoners, it is. Yeah, a lot of people, my Australian friends, New Zealand, Rossboroughs are thick through there. So,
Okay. Mick says his mate used to put a Nokia 320 in his ass, swap out cell phone and weed for phone calls. Nice.
Jeez.
Nice. Get some ass phone calls. Hey, this is a good one. Kevin doesn't really have too many aspects of what we changed. What I would change about the prison system right away is get rid of cash bail. There's no reason that if you're arrested, you can't be processed that same day. Have judges available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It can be all digital. You don't have to wait for people to appear for court appearances and wait for trial dates and random shit. I would also have
asking them to do it in just get booked now in a city county jail like Atlanta. You go around and around, it's sick, and and then finally you get in the center, and then you're gonna finally get it to it takes 24 hours sometimes, 2 days before you actually even see a bunk. Oh, here's a sack lunch, and that's good.
I mean, if we're being real, we have to pay corrections officers quite a bit more.
The security
and the correction system. I
food.
mean, it ultimately starts back with police officers. We really have to we have to.
What are we arresting them for, and how can we? What's the problem here?
Yeah.
What do we need to do? Because everything is different. Because you cannot do a patent. I think judges need to look at that, especially the real judges sitting in these positions of great power, and they need to recognize each and every case is really different, and the people involved are different. I have a civil case in the courts of Cuyahoga County that by a magistrate, I had someone that's a straight up, like, makes my criminal activities look like child's play. she's a straight up criminal. And I think that the courts have been possibly swayed by disinformation and not getting because I've been attacked. Now, this is one aspect of being a felon that really, if you get someone that wants to get you and they use that information and they make false claims, like a false police report against you, that and without my witness, I would have been locked up forever. It's the first time anybody ever did that. And it was my own father that did that. Okay. It's disgusting, but no one in my lifetime had ever used that felony status to try and get me thrown away forever. You know, that's just...
Right. I mean, well, the problem is multifaceted. I mean, we have to fix the drug laws. We have to look at what people are getting arrested for. Like, it's no secret in the States that if you got money, they're not going to ever arrest you. You know, the crimes don't allow. Look at the people.
They don't want to look at the trouble that it's going to put through the prosecutor. And oh God, he's probably going to get that really good one.
And it's so easy for people just to turn a blind eye to it. But if you really take a look at it, really look at the roots of the judicial system, what they're based in, how they treat people, it's
money based.
It's really kind of fucked up. It really is. We have to look towards Europe as the model. I mean, people need to have a
lot better than we are on that aspect.
People need to have basic human rights. Like, you shouldn't, if you're charged with, you know, not paying child support and you get locked up for a weekend, you shouldn't be forced to.
How much better of a father do you think a guy locked up is going to be?
Right. If you're locked up for the weekend, you shouldn't be forced to fucking be living with rats and shit just because.
And they're going to be pressured to bring stuff in because you're a weekender or some sort of shit that they got set up like that, half in, half out, that is set up for you to fail. You will fail. Every system we have is set up to put you back in it. It is like, you didn't check all the boxes, you're going back. This is not what it's about. Like behavior modification, perhaps. Like some people do need to get out of the cycle that they're in and a healthier one put in that will make them not want to be doing treacherous shit. And the people that perpetuate treacherous thought, and that's what it comes down to, is idiots coming up with really bad ideas and thinking they're going to get away with it.
Yeah. Well, and they let people out too, and they're like, "Oh, get a job," but you can only get like 2 jobs. Oh, you can go into sales, or you can mow lawns for a living.
They got Edwin's in Shaker Heights is a world-renowned restaurant that only employs felons. That's notable. However, I don't know. I've never eaten there, but I've heard good things. So that's a good thing. That somebody's actually, and they put their money where their mouth is. Because right now, if I had a bleeding heart civil attorney out there that wanted to do a tort for me for that, it's emotional distress that was put on me by that false allegation. So it was personal. That's what it was meant to do. The stuff that felons have to put up with, but he's just a felon. But that was also a long time ago. And they don't see that. They just see a horrible crime on a piece of paper. They don't see a person.
Right.
And a number.
And if people have well-paying jobs to go to, they'll do them. I mean, if we, let somebody who's been convicted of a crime, they may want to work at a, bricklaying job, work in an office, but they can't.
I deliver pizzas right now. I'm almost 60. I tell jokes, and I'll tell you what, comedian is code for broke. I'm just telling you, anybody says, yeah, I'm a comedian, you're broke then, probably. Unless you're like on a huge platform, you're probably broke. Living in your car, and your baby's in the trunk, and no, I don't know. Horrible situation. No, but my life is I've managed to get through it by my keeping real with people, staying the same person I am, never really trying to be somebody I'm not.
Right. It's perfect. Well, that's why YouTube's great, because YouTube they don't check for any felony convictions. They don't care about your record. If you're good and you're a wholesome person, you can entertain, as long as you don't violate the YouTube terms of service. A lot of people don't know Ronald
Baby Dick.
Ronald Reagan's former attempted murderer is actually he's actually on YouTube right now. He's got
Jeremy Shear would know more about Baby Dick.
He's got a monetized channel. He actually does. What's his name? What's that guy's name? He gets shot Reagan. You remember that? I know you remember that name.
Oh, that's Hink.
Yeah, John Hinckley.
Yeah. Got it.
He sings like music and shit. He's on there. Don't
brain.
Don't check him out. Stay in our community. All right, we'd like to thank Mr. Kevin for coming out today, brother. Appreciate it.
Absolutely,
this was an honor, man. He's fun. Check him out.
Kevin Ross on Instagram. I'm locked out. Kevin Ross Comedy on Instagram, and I'm locked out on Facebook right now for Baby Dick.
Yeah, his Facebook is
no.
His Facebook. He might have to do a new Facebook because we think.
I don't know. I'm completely restricted. Just done. They don't like me anymore.
Yeah, he's not good. He's not.
I think I violate
a Facebook friend.
I violated myself once. No. I sent a dick pic to my parole officer and violated. Yeah. I tried to fight it. I was like, no. And they had the picture of my dick, and the judge was like, well, we'll just do a month for every inch. Time served. No.
You got -2 months.
Yeah, I know. You gotta.
Yeah, Kevin Ross Comedy is his thing. I'll link in the description.
Hey, guys.
I appreciate it. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about how much Ticketmaster sucks. So be sure to join us. It's gonna be a banger. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Appreciate it. Bye.